Part 4, Coriolis effect explained. Bullets and spinning objects, the Magnus effect on the flat Earth. How does our model correctly account for the Coriolis effect on bullets and long-range shooting? Again, the answer is simple and the controllers got it wrong. They officially call it the Coriolis effect, but it is not. Here's a diagram of the official explanation for Coriolis effect on bullets. The apparent deflection of a body in motion with respect to the Earth and caused by the rotation of the Earth. The official explanation is complete rubbish. The Earth does not spin, rotate, or move. The Earth is motionless, fixed, and stationary. The Holy Grail, a cup or bowl. We will explain more in future videos. Rifled barrels are used to create the spin of the bullet. The spin stabilizes the bullet in flight, but also creates the deviation from the expected path of flight. Here's a diagram of the difference between a rifled barrel and a smooth bore barrel. The real answer, the Magnus effect. The spinning object will create a decreased velocity on one side where the air creates friction and increased velocity on the other side where the air flows. Magnus effect, the force exerted on a rapidly spinning cylinder or sphere moving through air or another fluid in a direction at an angle to the axis of spin. This force is responsible for the swerving of balls when hit or thrown with spin. A spinning rifled bullet. Magnus effect, not Coriolis effect. The Magnus effect on spinning rifle bullets works the same as spinning balls in forward motion. Again, like always, the answers are simple. Another diagram of the Magnus effect on a spinning ball through air. Examples of the Magnus effect: baseball pitches, curve, slider, fastball; tennis, topspin, slice, drop shot; golf, draw, fade, cut, slice, etc. Sideways spin or a spiral action will deviate left or right, as in a football or rifled bullet, depending on the rotation of spin. A front to back or back to front spin will deviate up or down. Think top spin, backspin on a tennis ball.
You can see that the basketball gets pushed around a bit by the breeze, but it lands basically right below where it was dropped. Now watch what happens when they drop another basketball, but this time with a bit of backspin.
Whoa, look at that go! That's incredible.
Part 5, Coriolis effect explained. Airplanes and the Magnus effect on flat Earth. For every good reason there is to lie, there is a better reason to tell the truth. Bo Bennett. How come airplanes are not affected by the Coriolis effect while in flight? Before we begin, let's recap the Coriolis effect. A diagram of the official explanation of the Coriolis effect. The apparent deflection of a body in motion with respect to the Earth and caused by the rotation of the Earth. Deflecting right in the northern hemisphere and deflecting left in the southern hemisphere. This is how ridiculous the controller's models are. They say the Earth moves in 4 different speeds, 4 different directions of movement. However, they only take into account one for the asinine Coriolis effect. We will teach you how to think again. You have the most powerful weapon in the cosmos, your brain. I suggest you use it. Me, Brian Austin Lambert. Just a reminder, the Earth does not spin, rotate, or move. The Coriolis effect is an incorrect description of the deviated paths of objects in motion. Remember, the Earth is motionless, fixed, and stationary. The Holy Grail is a bowl, cup, or platter, whichever term you prefer. The Grail is the concave structure that confines your world. We will go into greater detail in future videos. Now back to the question, how come airplanes are not affected by the Coriolis effect while in flight? Again, the answer is simple, because airplanes do not spin. Airplanes do not experience any deviation in their expected path because the Magnus effect does not apply to things that do not spin. No spin equals no Magnus effect equals no deviation in expected path. Recap of the Magnus effect. Magnus effect. The force exerted on a rapidly spinning cylinder or sphere moving through air or another fluid in a direction at an angle to the axis of spin. This force is responsible for the swerving of balls when hit or thrown with spin. Simplicity, the key to understanding everything. Part 6, Coriolis effect explained. Hurricanes and magnetohydrodynamics on the flat Earth. Hurricanes, cyclones, and typhoons are just different names for cyclical storm systems depending on which part of the world they occur. Cyclical storms are caused by electromagnetism in a process called magnetohydrodynamics and not by the Coriolis effect of a spinning Earth. The Earth does not spin, rotate, or move. It's motionless, fixed, and stationary. Here's a diagram of how storms work on either side of the equator, counterclockwise in the north, clockwise in the south. Everything from the North Pole to the equator is of one polarity or charge. And conversely, everything from the equator to the South Antarctic ring is of the opposite polarity or charge. One polarity north of the equator and the opposite polarity south of the equator. In a future video, we will explain the true magnetic structure. Once again, theoretical science got it wrong. Again, remember what science really is, an experiment that is observable and repeatable. Theoretical science is not real science. It's a religious belief system. Real science, electromagnetism. Electromagnetism is the one true force in the cosmos. That is why you only have gadgets that are powered by electricity. Gravity and the others are bollocks. Don't worry, we will explain. Right-hand rule of electricity. Right-hand rule of electricity. Directional flow of electrical current determines direction of spin. Thumb points to direction of current flow, and fingers show the direction of spin. Magnetohydrodynamics. The behavior of an electrical conductive fluid, plasma, molten metals, water, acted on by a magnetic field. In the case of cyclical storms, the conductive liquid would be the salt water of the oceans. Electrical current flow in the polarity of the magnetic field determines rotational spin of storms, not the Coriolis effect. Sorry, Mr. Coriolis, you have been completely debunked. Another theoretical science model down the drain.
Doing here. Now in this setup we have positive electrode on the left and a negative on the right, and current will be flowing from positive to negative. However, the electrons will be flowing from negative to positive, the opposite direction, which is, essentially the particle. And we'll observe that too in the experiment. Electrode in a clockwise motion around the positive electrode. Now, if you can look into the right and left-hand rules of electricity online and get into that. But
absolutely vital information to watch and understand can be found at this channel. Mr. Too Tough 2. Sub and watch his videos. I would highly recommend that you watch all his videos. The other stuff we will get to and is a must for seeing the whole picture of the tree. This wisdom is for everyone. It is now your responsibility to also share. You must pass on what you will learn. Part 7, the number 33, the real meaning on the flat earth. Subscribe to our channels. Make sure you subscribe to mine. I have no strikes, so Mia's, we don't know how long they're going to be up. Thank you.